I'm gonna leave it for.
Okay, you bet. We're going to get started right now. So, thank you everyone for coming to the January 22nd Festival of Chimes and Lights Committee meeting. And we're going to get started with a little review of the 2017 event. Actually, you know what? I may switch this. Do you have information on the decorations by chance?
So we have the two original quotes.
Yes.
And then they sent in a revised one because one of the footage was off or
Yes.
left off.
Correct, yes.
So we do
Yep.
have those. And I'd be happy to provide it to you in the committee, but I want to be cognizant of too much of the quotes being passed out because it could hamper the procurement process. So.
Oh, I see. So
So-
you could just give information, general information, and then we don't have to be specific.
Yes.
But,
Okay.
and we can also let the committee know that it seems like we will be able to buy decorations, even though we would have gone over our usual budget. It sounds like the council, though, is in favor of finding the funds to actually just get all of the decorations purchased for what we were looking for on Bay Street, rather than splitting it into a couple of years and having the same problem we've been having. So, wouldn't you say that's the gist of it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, the happy news then is that we're looking. We're having to go out and follow the procurement process, and having several quotes come in so that we can find the best price for a high quality product.
Correct. And so what we're hoping to get with a combination of the committee and the chair, as well as the Public Works Director or Public Works Department, is to get a list of specs. I mean, it doesn't have to be so detailed, but we already know the length of it. What we need and then you'll just need to confirm the weight, because each of the quotes came with weights to make sure that each strand can withhold the current existing ties. I guess that's what it's called. But what we're going to need guidance on is the type of garland, the type of decoration. So once the committee confirms that yes, we want to go out with this type of garland, this type of decorations, then we have to compile all of that up and then go and seek those bids. So once we seek the bids, so basically you think of it as your wish list. So this is everything that we want, right? And then once you have everything you want, which is a proposal or a bid, then you go out and find vendors or solicit for vendors that will put in a bid for those. You can't, once the quotes come back, you can't negotiate with that vendor on, oh, okay, well, let's change this out, let's change that out, because what happens is you're not giving the other vendors a fair opportunity to do the same thing.
Apples and apples.
Correct. So when you go out for bid and you're looking for consulting, say we want to hire a consultant to determine which the best, garland is out there, for example, you can go, this is what we want that consultant to do. Then you can base the pricing on, or the quotes based on qualifications and skills, not on price. When you're purchasing and going out for bid for product, it is absolutely the lowest price. So that's why you have to go out for apples to apples comparison. Especially once we hit 7,500 and more, the bid becomes more convoluted. And once we hit 15,000 or more, we have to go out for a formal bid, which means we list the specs, we advertise it, it has to be open for 2 weeks. Then they come and submit a bid and say, okay, this is what we're gonna offer you, and the lowest is the responsive bid.
We expect that this price will come in between the 7,500 and the 15,000. That's what we're expecting. In fact, I don't even know that the council approved anything beyond that at all. So it's that in between that we're going to be working with. And I think the best thing to do, Bill, would be to get the catalogs of what we were looking at, and the two of us get together and just kind of make a listing of the specs.
Perfect.
That the committee has already approved of, because we've got the photos of what we wanted, that higher quality garland with the LED lights in it, with the bows.
And you can phase it in. So obviously phase 1 is you're gonna have garland, you're gonna have 6 garlands or whatever the number is, right? That's gonna be phase 1. Phase 2 would be, you know, I think there was conversation where you want the entrance and the exit to have a little more decoration. So that would be your phase 2, or the gateway. So would be your phase 2. This is just an option.
Yeah.
And then your third one would be, oh, if the money was no object, we want this all across, because then you can seek 3 different types of proposal, and then whatever comes in within budget, that's what we can do. So for example, we may not have enough money to do everything, but maybe the second phase of, or the second quote is you want like 3 different pretty things instead of 2. I don't know what they're called, so
Okay.
I'm not sure what the lingo.
We'll go with
So you don't
Yeah.
want to limit yourself to where you're so restrictive that you only are looking for this garland. So you want to have, you know, a good size, realistic one, and then you want to have some sort of wish list, because if the council does have the extra funds and they do find that source, that revenue source, then you might as well just get, you know, everything that you want
Okay.
without compromising the bid and going back and say, I want more and more and more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
all the notes that we've been talking about. So what we
So I think it's appropriate.
we could do the extra lighting too. That some of the lights that we looked at, those poinsettia lights and stuff, we could call those a phase 3 or whatever,
Right.
ABC. But we'll start with the basic garlands. And the problem we had with adding extra features to the garland, Bill said it, is that it hangs too low and we don't have the
There's a
clearance
height
that we need.
requirement.
Yeah.
Which is, ooh, but maybe there's something else that we could see that would go up more, you know, for the gateway garlands or something like that. Maybe in the next week, or we would have time, because you have all the specific specs, and I can look at the catalogs and get all the language. Then that will be what you guys will need to go out for the procurement process.
So look at the language, but don't say
We wouldn't.
this company, right? Just-
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you asked them to itemize?
We could do that.
Because that way, you're looking at each bid and their prices are gonna be different
Yeah.
on each thing, and then you could say, well, we can buy this from there, but this is more expensive.
So you can't
So we'll
mix it in-
eliminate-
right, you can eliminate it, right?
Yeah.
So then you just say, instead of doing phases,
Mhm.
you just say, I want to quote on, and then you just list everything out.
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you guys?
And then whatever's within the budget is what you can shop from the lowest.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think it would just be a matter of making sure that the quality was the same at
Right.
both places.
And that part I have no
Yeah,
experience
because
in.
it's gonna be a whole
Well, you
price if it's.
remember how they said, I mean, we started reading the specs once, and
Yeah.
it said blah, blah, blah per, you know,
Right. There's
square
like-
inch
yeah,
or whatever
the
it
number
was.
of-
And then
yeah.
it said that the grade of the
Yeah.
material,
Mhm.
they had grade blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We can actually start with a pretty high quality product
Yeah.
that way.
One
And-
of the important things too is to make sure that, which we didn't have on this garland, is that the bulbs are watertight,
Mhm.
water
Oh,
sealed.
yeah, that's right.
And I think that
Oh, yeah.
that might not be, when we bought those there, it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
That might not be an issue.
With the current technology and all.
Right.
Clancy seemed to know quite a bit about like that, because he was the one that pointed out the number of like the fir, or it was the pine needles, right? It was like the number of like needles per.
Right. He said that was something he used to work
Yeah,
with
right.
a lot in his profession. But he said also there's been quite a gap
Mhm.
between when he used to do that and now. And I think we'll get a lot of the information from the catalogs, a current catalog.
Mhm.
Actually,
Yeah.
probably more on the website now than
It's-
even
mhm,
catalogs,
yeah.
because we're finding they're not even printing
Yeah,
catalogs.
that's true. Mhm.
So,
Another option, I don't know if it's an option, is if we can receive samples. Maybe we
Oh,
can
yeah.
ask
Yes.
That would be
samples.
good. Yeah.
Yes.
That would be really
Just a
good.
little
that's what we
snippet.
did with the last
Yeah.
time, I
Mhm.
think. But it might have come from within one company.
Could be.
I
So-
can
So I'll have
contact-
Janine reach out to get
Yes.
samples, right?
Yes.
And then, so it's my understanding that Bill and Cindy, you guys will get together to come
Specs.
up with much
Your spec
specs as you
sheets.
can, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll try and get some samples, and then hopefully by the time we get the samples and you guys get the specs, the only thing that we're missing is that quality.
Okay, so
Okay.
for the next year, we'll have a new product. Isn't that happy?
Yes, that is.
Very happy. Well, okay, very
So
good.
what are we going to do with the old garland?
Well, we have to declare them well, if there isn't a use for them outside of the city and we're done, we have to declare them surplus, but.
Well,
We've got
we had
places.
I'm not saying I want to throw extra work on us, but we had a string of garland that I had separate from the lights, and I used the garland to wrap the rail around the back.
Oh, right here?
Yeah. And so, I mean,
We might as well use it if it's still usable.
Mm-hmm.
I used to wrap the light poles down on Frederick too, or on the corner, crosswalks.
Were they just for a day visual, or do they
Yeah,
actually
no,
light up at
no,
night?
just
Okay,
day
so no
visual, 'cause
lights.
there's no
but just-
power to
okay.
it.
The thing is, this is going to be the 20th year of the Festival of Chimes and Lights. So we're going to try to amp it up a bit.
Mhm.
And all of you, if you think of anything that would be fun and unusual, let us know, because it's time to be thinking about what we could do differently to make it a little more special. I had talked a little bit about fireworks, but that's pretty much out of range. We don't have a budget for it. Although one of the councilmen said, if you pursued funding, that might come for that reason. So I guess there's a possibility. But then if it's pouring rain, fireworks usually
Yeah.
isn't the best thing.
Yeah.
And it's mostly pouring rain.
Mhm.
That time of the year.
Yeah, I know. But maybe there would be some kind of light show or something. I guess in the past there'd been a laser show.
We've had laser.
Yeah.
Was it fun? Was it nice?
It's okay.
They,
It was okay.
they had I think what they did is they had a screen
They had a
stretched
screen, yeah.
by the fire department.
Mhm.
I see.
Hmm.
Okay, so
So you didn't have to
that-
coincide with them.
So maybe
Yeah.
we'll just keep thinking about something that
Mhm.
could be special in the water or chimes and lights. Okay, well, I like that idea. If we can get samples then we'll bring all that. Perfect, okay. Okay, good, progress being made. And isn't that happy news that we can maybe have a few more funds to get this all done?
That's exciting.
We've waited a long time,
Mhm.
so it's a good thing.
Besides the garland, what other decorations were you looking at?
You know how we saw those poinsettia lights? I don't have the catalogs, I turned them over to you guys. But there were some beautiful lit side light type things, and they were real vibrant color, red, green, yellow.
That we would hang on.
Poles or wherever we would have the capability of putting them. And see, that's what you know the best.
Yeah, if we're not gonna eliminate the wreaths, then we could hang them on these parking lot lights out here.
Hmm.
I don't know how big they are, but
They're pretty
These are
big.
pretty
Mhm.
big, I remember them.
Is there capability of power on those parking lot lights?
yeah,
They're
we
on.
the ones that light up, the wreaths light up.
And the wreaths could just be put other places too, couldn't they? Are they pretty?
They're pretty
bad shape?
heavy.
Okay.
Yeah, they almost are too heavy for those light poles, but we do it anyway.
Okay.
So what if we use the garland down there, if that's the way we go, or we get new ones down there? Is there interest in, or the availability of hanging those old wreaths along Mile Hill somewhere to get those
Oh.
further down? Worst
Like-
case,
Like on the light poles,
I don't know, whatever.
we'd have to.
Instead of them, if the goal is to get something new up here,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Then where else could they
Just
go in the
wouldn't be able
city?
to light them up, I don't believe.
Okay.
But for David.
We can look for other parts of the city
Right.
to expand on this.
Mhm.
That's what I was thinking. If we wanted new down here, then we can say we're now new down here, and then we're gonna expand outside the
How
area.
far
You know what I
along-
mean?
Well, how far along would we be actually on Tremont? On our new gateway.
Pretty darn close, because I think it's
Yes.
October 2018, right?
Yes, so perhaps we could be making use of some
Mm.
things and maybe even include in our budget a little something for the gateway. Because that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Oh, you mean for,
Tremont.
oh, they're supposed to be done this year.
That's what I heard.
Yes,
October
actually,
2018.
the bulk of it I think is. Can you imagine that?
We had a meeting and they said it was gonna be 2 or 3 years,
Really?
unless they were just saying that.
Maybe we had to break ground by then.
I don't know, we'll take a look. I
We'll
think a
find out.
lot of it is supposed to be
We'll
done.
find out.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Uh-huh. The infrastructure is pretty much in place. We're gonna detour in February, I think. So they're going to town.
Mhm.
But wouldn't that be cool, you guys? That's where we need a gateway thing. Bill, well, we don't even know. The infrastructure's not in yet. Wouldn't that be cool to have a big thing?
Are they going to include power in the roundabouts?
I don't know.
Oh, I think they would have to.
I don't know.
You know? I don't know either. Okay.
It's a question to ask.
Question for
Mhm.
Mike. I think Mike Pleasant.
Any interest on
Overseeing
Port
it,
Orchard
yeah.
Boulevard? Anything? If we're asking, do we want to ask what our options are versus our wants?
I
You
just
know,
can't
you don't really
imagine.
see it that
Yeah.
much.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I like the ideas of gateways.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'd love
Okay.
something on Tremont
Yeah,
if it
that'd
were
be
far
so
enough
pretty.
along. Wouldn't it just be cool?
Mhm.
Be a great place for Santa Claus.
Yes.
And the Martin?
Well, no, we'd have to keep all that here.
So Tremont
No,
is,
the waving Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Tremont is that's a city, right? It's not state.
Yeah.
Tremont, yeah, right. It's our city.
So we don't have to
No.
request the state for a street closure if we wanted to change.
Well, we won't
Something.
change venues.
No.
That doesn't make sense
No.
because it's too busy. But as far as the Santa Claus that's out in front, that might be kind of a nice
Mhm.
place for it because we had a hard time looking,
Yeah, we're
finding a
having
place.
even in the flagpole triangle, sometimes it's kind of hard to.
Yeah, you know what?
install
I
there.
don't think that is the best thing for that area anymore. And this year, I really do want to get the stage facing the street this way.
Yeah, he was in the way this year.
Yeah, I know. And you know what?
Yeah.
It turned out to be great
That's
with
fine.
all that everyone had to deal with. But if we can get that back and the
Yeah.
idea of moving Santa out
Mm-hmm.
to the other gateway would be terrific.
Super fun, yeah.
Because in the future, I would think we'd want to just keep expanding on this. And I don't know, but Port Orchard, decorating for the holidays and drawing people here, that is something maybe we'll actually become better known for.
Mhm.
Because I actually think we are already.
Our lights
Yeah.
going in are beautiful.
Yes.
You know, around the bank and
Yeah.
the front.
Yes.
Really, if you go into Bremerton or any of them, they don't have that, but we
I
really
know.
do.
And
Mhm.
you know, Port Townsend this year usually has streetlights and decorations, and
Mhm.
they had none.
Hmm.
And what? It was so dreary. I thought,
Mhm.
Port Orchard really looks
Yeah.
good. So we'll just keep expanding on that, see what we can do. But so yes, it's a really good question to ask about where the other decorations go, and I think we just make use of everything we have until it no longer works. We can
Mhm.
piece it together in certain places that doesn't matter a bit.
Good.
You know, I think that we're kind of onto something.
Mhm.
We'll just keep expanding it.
I know those brochures, as I was going through them, they had a lot of decorations that you could put over signs. So where it says City Hall, they actually have the lighted decorations that you could put on top of signs or on top of monuments.
Mhm.
That looks like it's tailored, you know, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. They had Santa
Mhm.
Claus and snowflakes, so they have those options.
Yeah, the
Just
thing
in case.
that we don't know yet until our project is completed on Tremont is what we're gonna have to work
Yeah.
with. Because I think there'll be a new city sign and there'll be some other things that I don't even think we know what
Mhm.
that's gonna
Yeah.
look like yet. But we're kind of expanding our horizons. So by suggesting that we decorate other places than just down here,
Mhm.
we do have to be thinking along those lines. The city is more than just downtown. So bit by bit. So we're on a good path. So what we'll do is, yes, get the samples, get the specs, see how much we can do with the budget that we're allowed, which we don't even know what that is, but it's greater than what we originally thought. Good. I like this. Isn't that? I'm really
You're
excited.
ready for this.
I am. I'm ready. This has been good. So we did do a little review of the 2017 event at the last meeting, a little bit. Is there anything that any of you have that we should make sure that we change for next year? Is there something you want to add that you would like to see
I
different?
felt the brochures needed to come out a little earlier.
Oh, that was definitely a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the day of, I went around and passed out brochures to some of the businesses didn't even have them yet.
I know,
So
I know.
That's on
my-
our list, Cindy and
Oh,
I will
good.
be working
I
on that
missed
to
the
get
last
things,
Right.
yeah,
We had a
Sorry.
problem with a vendor,
right.
Yeah,
yeah, and so, in general, there were a lot of problems.
yeah.
And the fact that we even got them, and the inside was upside down.
I
You know,
But it was okay.
Yeah, it was.
okay. That
It was.
small. I just
We
thought-
weathered the storm and they
Yeah.
gave us a discount,
Yeah.
you know, but,
That's
right,
the only thing I really thought.
yes.
The pet parade, I thought went very well.
Mhm.
I like the organization of it.
And Woodside said they're so happy to be sponsoring that.
Good.
So
did a
we'll see
good
them
job.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Isn't that cool?
that's so cool.
I know it, you did
Yeah.
a good job.
That's fun.
Yeah, and the pet corner also,
Mm-hmm.
very nice, how
Yeah.
that all worked out.
That was great.
My sister said she had some feedback from people from Tacoma that came down here.
Okay, I'll get that from her.
Tacoma? Wow, very cool. So, and the fire truck worked out, and the Santa, and then he brought his wife.
Everybody loved the Santa.
Yeah.
No.
Good.
And
We're gonna make some changes on the fire truck next year.
are you?
We're gonna put lights on the side,
Oh,
Christmas
nice.
lights.
Oh,
and
cool.
then we're gonna put lights up on top to light up Santa, cause he's kinda hard to see.
Mhm.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So,
that's what we're gonna do for this year.
okay. So, I'm not sure who the Santa will be this year, because you know, Santa Pat was the stand-in for Santa Dennis.
Mhm.
And Santa Pat wrote back, "We had so much fun, and we'd love to do it again." But I haven't been in contact with Santa Dennis, and to know,
Right.
he's been our standing Santa for years. And I suppose it would be confusing to children if we had two Santas, right? So we'll figure that out. But okay, so that's a good idea. So the fire truck will be lit up.
Mhm.
Any other feedback, Bobby?
That's the one I.
That's
thought
the main
most,
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one, and it's a Jingle Bell Run thing, and probably need to talk to Sheila about it, but they need a volunteer for every intersection. I was going down to Lot 4,
Uh-huh.
and the intersection there by Pin Feet, I think that's Harrison,
Mhm.
was unmanned. And that's where the runners cross and the buses go in, and people actually leave out of that intersection.
Mhm.
And if I hadn't have been there, a guy went down the wrong side of the cones in his truck.
Mhm.
And then the buses were just trying to nose in
Ugh.
through the runners.
So
Yeah.
I'll relay that to the chief, because they
Yeah.
used to pay, I don't know if they do anymore, but they used to pay for off-duty officers. And so once I mentioned that to the chief may require them to have a paid officer there.
That intersection there, if we're gonna allow the
Just to
buses
find out
in there,
one,
especially
needs
now.
to be manned.
Mhm. Okay.
I know they have volunteers at all the driveways, like the entrances and exits of,
I think there's a couple main entrances that they have to have paid officers for, but
that seems
We'll
like it
find
might
out.
be one of them too.
yeah, I'm not sure. I'll find out.
Okay. All right, good to know. All of these things
Mhm.
are really important. So the fire truck's gonna have lights, okay, and we'll get more volunteers for Jingle Bell Run. Brochures will be worked on earlier. And yeah, and we've had a request to have the design changed a little bit on the brochures and the,
That'd be fun.
yeah.
For the
So we'll
plan.
see if we
Yeah.
can, again, those are budget issues. We don't really have a budget for a lot of design, but maybe there's something we can do that sets it apart this year. So I'll be working with a couple of the people in town who have donated design in the past and see if we can do that. But again, this year we'll be meeting a lot more and getting a lot more done earlier, so we can work on some of this. Yeah. So, anything else though that you?
Could we have a few more posters?
Oh, sure.
I
Yeah,
I
we
ran
don't
out
have
of
any.
posters
Did you?
right away, and people were asking,
Oh, I didn't know.
and maybe I just didn't get them, but I don't know.
Okay.
Needed the smaller ones
The
for their
poster.
windows.
Okay.
And then you got the thing on the tent. for the.
Do we have to
Yes.
budget some of that
We
this
have to
year?
budget it, and it hasn't been budgeted because we're on a biennial budget for 2017 or 2018. But my question is for Bill, is how cumbersome is that to, one, do we have a place to put it for, as big as that is? Do we have a place?
When are we talking about?
The
I'm sorry.
tent, the photo right here.
Oh, this
Right
tent.
So I don't believe, I think if we do, I'll have to check with the fire department because I can't quite remember, but there can't be any sides to them. It has to be, or is it three
I
I
sides?
think that changed because of the fireworks tents, like
Okay.
you can have sides. I think you can have 3 sides.
Okay, we'll confirm
Yeah.
that, because then, yeah.
But the sides are removable.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah, they're removable,
Mhm.
I'm sure.
they are.
So, and then what is the, what location is this gonna be at? What were your thoughts of where
That
this
would
would be?
In front of City Hall.
In front of City Hall?
Is that the 20 by 40?
10 by 20.
10 by 20? Oh yeah, the 20 by 40 is out on the other side.
So
Yeah.
any issues with that
I don't think-
safety-wise?
Oh, you're down here? I don't see
Because I think the
any, no
reason
more
why
than
we were
usual.
hesitant in 2017 is because if we put that tent there, and then the issue was that's where Santa was and all those cords, people are gonna be tripping over them, and it's a
Well, we put
hazard.
a tent there.
You have?
It was the chamber tent, and
Mhm.
it's like this
It was just-
terrible pole.
Yeah,
It's
it was
10,
hard.
it's 10 by 20,
It's
but it's
really
like
hard to work with.
terribly difficult to put up. So we borrow it from the city borrows it from the Chamber of Commerce every year, and it like took you guys a
Yeah, it
long
was-
time. To
Well, there was
set it
only
up.
3 of us this last time to put
Yeah.
that up, and it was very cumbersome.
And
And
we,
what is this
we have
style here?
these.
This is the pop-up.
You saw us
scissor
putting those
side,
across,
and that's,
putting up across the street. It took us like
we have
10
some of these in a
minutes.
smaller version for work.
Yeah.
They just
And they're just- yeah, they
really
just-
easy.
they just
Pop
pop
up
up.
really.
How much is that one?
It's a little over 500.
Okay.
And then what is, the storing? Where is this gonna be stored at?
It could probably be stored upstairs at our shop. In a
They
warm
don't take up
environment,
much
or at the
space.
south shed.
It's just like this. It's all and it has wheels. The case has wheels and a handle. So, I mean, I wheeled it myself. It's pretty heavy. It's better with 2 people to wheel it, but.
And I like the red.
I do too.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh God. And the what? Can I take a peek at that too?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see it? Oh, neat. Very nice.
Now, would that be a Chimes and Lights purchase?
It would be a city purchase.
Okay. Because I know there's gonna be a question at some point. Could we use that tent?
It's a city tent, it can be used for any city function.
Yeah, I don't know
Oh,
what.
so it's not coming out of the Chimes and Lights budget then?
Depends.
No.
If it comes out of the Chimes and Lights budget, I'll store it with
Right.
all the garland and stuff.
It depends on how we can,
If it's a city tent, it should come out of.
Because then you could
Yeah.
use it for National Night Out. And
I think
Right.
there are lots of
other
different
stuff.
events.
Yeah.
but I'm saying if we want something this year for 2018, it would either be a budget amendment by the council or it would be a split fund.
Mm.
Because Chimes and Lights doesn't have the budget for it.
No, I know. Right. So it's going to be a city purchase, $500. What fund would it come out of?
I don't
If
know,
it
I'd
were
have
a
to
city.
ask treasurer.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't really have.
We don't have a discretionary fund, so it would have to be where the treasurer thinks you can find the money from. And then it would,
Well,
require
when you buy
budget
things
from the
like
council.
decorative things like the flower baskets, street trees, things like that, what fund does that come out of?
Don't-
Mark's budget.
What-
Don't take it
what
out of
flower
parks, I
baskets?
think we got $10.
The flower baskets are the pops
Awesome. But we pay for the fertilization, right? Yeah.
It's a public
Oh,
works.
okay.
So, yeah, I bet it would be Public Works. Well,
But I will work on that.
$500, I would think that we could find that. Yeah. It's pretty necessary.
I mean, that was like three people over an hour of staff time putting that.
This one here, you'd still need
You need a couple people.
at least 2, but
Yeah,
it's a matter of minutes.
yeah.
Plus easy to store. Well, that could be put into the ask, but I think the difference would be if it comes out of Chimes and Lights funds, that you just wouldn't have it available for
Right.
every group
I
because
would
at
store
some
it
point
with
it's
the
going to be
Chimes and
damaged.
Lights
Right.
decoration.
But I do think that we probably could get it as part of the ask, because if we get a good price on the rest of the decorations, it sounds like what we need, and for this special event this year, $500 is probably not going to be too much. So if it means not getting it, then having it come out of the Chimes and Lights budget with
Mhm.
limited use, is that kind of the flavor of, does that make sense to everybody, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think you need it.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to slip out.
Oh, okay, Terry. If you can make it tomorrow night, just
Okay.
come on over,
Okay,
okay? Thank you for coming.
sure.
And thanks for the update on the fire truck.
Okay, I'll keep you posted.
Okay, thanks.
I was thinking green and gold.
Green?
There's green.
For the Packers.
Green and
For the
No, not liking it? We can do my son and do
There's
blue
a bright
and red.
green one.
Page
no.
notes.
Oh.
Oh.
All right.
We did not come here to
So
be
is that the
insulted.
direction is when we get the bids back for the decorations, that when we seek funding approval for the decorations, that we would also seek that additional dollars for the tent. at the
Unless
same
you
time.
can find another fund to pull it out of and have it available to, other groups or whatever. But I'm just thinking that if it comes out of the Chimes and Lights fund, then we'll want to keep it in good condition for the event. Okay, all right.
The south shed is where I store all that's the fire station on Sydney, where I store all the Christmas stuff, and the upstairs is almost completely cleaned out, so.
And
I could
it's
store
not
it
a lot
in
of
a-
rodents or anything in
No.
there that would chew through?
No, there's no rodents.
Okay.
And also, it's warm, it's heated.
Oh,
so.
wow. Okay.
No, what about the fire pits? So the fire
Oh,
pits
yeah.
is my understanding that they were the cities, Al
They were.
stored them, and we now
Yeah.
have possession of those,
We have
correct?
possession again,
Okay.
yeah. And there's,
So-
what did we have last time?
6.
One of them was beyond repair. So we had I think 5 we took down there. And
Do you think we need to
the
replace
fellow
any
that
of them?
was, what's the guy's name that was running the
Al
fire pits?
Mahaney?
No.
The other
The-
one,
the-
Oh.
the
Bob
guy that-
Morehouse.
Bob Morehouse,
Mhm.
he only actually fired up 3. Because there was nobody down there really.
So do we need to replace the fire pits? Because I think if so, this would be the year to ask for replacements.
Yeah, we're gonna do it, go ahead and ask, but they can be used.
What's the lifespan, do you think, the next year or two? We're gonna have to get those
Yeah.
replaced?
Yeah. Al stored them indoors, and that's what we're doing, but they, because they're thin, fairly thin metal,
Yeah, I've never seen.
and they get fires in them every year, so.
Okay.
I don't know if he used them for other shows or what.
So it doesn't sound like fire pits would be a priority.
No, not this year.
Yeah, not this year.
But if
But
they,
I'll need
if-
to-
if they wanna throw the money in it.
Well, if it's not a priority, then my thought was when I work on the biennial budget for the 2019-2020, that's when I was gonna fund for it.
Okay.
And then the sleigh. So there was issues with the sleigh. So that is, the city has, can request the use of the sleigh in advance.
That was what Al was saying, and he thought we were gonna come and get it.
Okay.
And
So I don't know if there's any interest in having the sleigh or not, but
It was Sharon who shared with us that it wasn't going to be available. Remember that meeting? Where
I
she
think it was a
actually
lack of,
saying,
I think when
Yeah,
Bill and
well,
I
Al-
talked, it was a lack of
Al
communication
said he-
between Bill and, Sharon and Al.
Al did say it was fine to use. He said it needed some work. We talked about that, like it needed, if we were gonna use
Yeah, he
it.
said each year they
It
replace some of the
needed to-
garland and
It
stuff.
had needed some work, it had been outside. And then there was a question about the size of the sleigh, like.
right. part of
Yeah.
the problem was it going to be big enough for Santa and
yeah.
whatever. So I don't know, because I actually haven't been in the sleigh to know how big that sleigh is. Dennis
Pretty big.
is a smaller Santa.
Mhm.
Oh, you mean weight-wise?
Well, just room for kids coming up and all of that, right? So we used a couple of chairs this year, St. Vincent de Paul, and
It was
also
Goodwill.
Goodwill.
Yes.
And
We had some
did I tell you the
issues
story?
on the return.
So we
Oh,
went and got the
no.
chair, and so we kept it as dry as possible. I put it inside for the weekend, took it back on Monday, and the guy came out and looked at it and says, "We don't want that." I said, "You don't understand. I'm not donating it to you. I'm returning it to you. You loaned it to us. No, we don't take that." They didn't want it.
No, wait,
They gave us something they were going to throw away.
was that Goodwill or St. Vincent de Paul?
Goodwill.
It was Goodwill?
And it wasn't a love seat.
Okay.
It was just a chair. And I didn't get a chance to talk to you about if they were going to charge you for it, so it's stored up at my park shed right now.
The chair?
Yeah,
Because they wouldn't take it back.
they wouldn't take it back.
So we
I
could
didn't
just
want to
use
throw it in the
We could just use
dumpster.
it next year.
We could take it to St. Vincent de Paul. I bet they'll take
I
it.
bet they would too.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. And that was Goodwill donating to St. Vincent de Paul. Thank you very much, Anthony. Good grief.
I thought it was.
Well,
That's funny.
yeah, and that's because we didn't think that the sleigh was available to us.
Smart.
But if it is going to be available, we have to find out how much work it is, because if Al keeps it outside, and I think that's partly what Sharon was talking about, is it
Mhm.
might be kind of a lot.
Yeah.
When I went to Al's to get the fire pits,
Uh-huh.
the sleigh was on a trailer waiting for somebody. So, and it was covered.
Oh, it was?
So it was outside on a trailer, but I'm sure he doesn't store it outside.
Okay.
He's got a big shop. I don't know what all he's got, but he's got quite a few stuff. He does other things. He does the
Is it a
Tulalip.
stationary sleigh
Float?
that
Yeah.
you
He gets paid for that.
put somewhere?
It actually it was
For
cool looking sleigh. We've used
It's
it for
cool, yeah.
years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this was
So
the
it's my
first
understanding
time.
that as long as we give him advance notice, the problem is once we found, one bill when I found out, it was too late. He'd already rented it out
Mhm.
for somebody else's use.
It was on
So
its way
if
north.
we're interested to go down that route, Bill can let him know, or somebody can let him know that, hey, we want to reserve this date for this sleigh,
Mhm.
and then.
Well, I
go
think we
from
should
there.
go with it then.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sounds
Because
I'll
that
do
was
that.
always special.
Mhm.
I don't know what, how big his list is or his request list is, but we might want to touch bases with him.
Yeah.
Soon.
Sooner rather than later.
So, do you want to touch base with him, or do you want me to?
I can if you want me to.
Because what I was gonna ask is, one, if it's available, as long as it's direction of the committee is okay with it, is to ask him, one, if it's available, and two, what does it require to have it show ready?
Mhm.
And what does that entail?
Yeah.
And then bring it back to the committee to say, okay,
Well,
we can,
then-
we can reserve it, this is what's gonna take. We can either pay somebody to do that work, or go somewhere else, assuming we can find the funds
And why
to
don't
do
you
it.
touch bases with him, that way you can have
Yeah.
first-hand information for the.
Because again, based on the dollar amount, we're gonna have to.
Right. But whoever he
Here.
loaned it to this year may have fixed it up. So it might be ready to go.
Yeah, and it just depends on, if, I don't know if they do it
Yeah.
themed wise. I have no idea, or if it's just a red sleigh,
It's
I have no
like
idea.
red. Yeah.
You know, I think it's
So-
better, Brandy, let me talk to Alan, a friend of his, rather than the city go with all of the restrictions that the city has just for the moment. And just find out where he's thinking. And, he may be willing to donate all of the services, et cetera, if we ask him as a favor kind of
Mhm.
thing, rather than having,
Maybe he'll take a picture and send it to you so you
Yeah.
can see if
Well,
it
let's
looks
ask him as a
nice
friend and
and-
volunteer first before we ask as a business proposition.
Yeah,
That's all I'm
he'd
saying.
appreciate that, I think.
And then that way, if we may even be able to, if we did it this way, we may be able to have some volunteers work on it,
Yeah.
rather than the city starting to do the budget stuff and what that means. Because, it gets so involved, as we just heard. So let's just talk to him as our friend and see if he's willing to get that ready and donate that without money being tied to it. Otherwise, we can go into the budget stuff, but I can see this all going cha-ching
Mhm.
and adding up, and it gets expensive. So, okay, but I'll reach out to him first, and then I'll get back. Okay, at our February meeting. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
You might throw into him that it's our 20th, because he likes those
He does.
Big
things. And
anniversaries.
he might just, his heart might just say, oh yeah, the 20th, yeah,
It might be very special to him. Okay.
And then anything past this year,
Yeah.
I'll be working on the budget for 2019,
Yeah.
2020, if we go that route for any other. If it's like a one-time only type of thing,
Mhm.
let me know.
Okay, well, and at some point, if he doesn't use the sleigh much, he may consider donating it to the city, or its use to the city. Who knows?
Mhm.
I'm not sure.
True.
So I think we'd always take it if
We
we've got
have a
room.
place to put it.
Right, right. We need that new Santa
Public
shop.
works.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else though? Randy, what else would you need for budgeting purposes? Because you are working on the budget through in August, July, August for the
Around
next
there.
one.
Yeah, just waiting on the director to give me the numbers of what we have.
Are we going back to our old way of finding the tree?
I was gonna bring that up on our list, that there was some concerns with the tree and the interest of going somewhere else. And it was brought up that, there may be a couple trees left at our previous site that
Okay.
maybe Public Works could go and take a peek and see if we can, go that route versus
A
the
donation.
past couple of years, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's, to be positive and clear, the donation part of the tree, that's a great thing.
It
But
is.
It's,
We're finding it's more cumbersome on the tail end to Public Works.
yes,
Mhm.
there's
Time
more
consuming.
work involved, making the tree look,
Like remaking the tree.
yes.
So getting a donated tree is one thing, and remaking it is quite another, which you had to do. They don't just get a tree. It's a lot of times so damaged that the branches come off and they get drilled in, and basically
And
that's.
the one thing that is pretty obvious too, is that when they're looking at the tree, they're just looking at one side of it. Because we had to plug limbs in where there weren't actually any limbs, and they weren't broke off, they just weren't there.
They weren't there.
Because when the trees grow close together,
Yes.
from a distance, they look great. But then you gotta go around them because there's
Yeah.
nothing growing on the other side. And I think that's one of the things that.
So,
I
that
hate to
was
sound like
from-
I'm ungrateful, but.
No. So that's Jones Tree Farm that we
Mhm.
originally would get our
Right.
tree from.
We haven't been there in a couple of years, so I'd have to get a hold of them.
And was that a $450 cost or
I
so?
think it was a couple hundred.
Around there. I don't have it with me, but
It seems to me somewhere that price stood out.
Yeah.
So we'd have to budget for that. We don't have that in our budget.
I will have to look to see if I've just carried that forward every year.
Okay.
Knowing that we had to pay something.
Okay.
I will check on that.
But when you consider how much labor goes into remaking a tree, that $450 price tag or whatever it is would not be too much if we could get a decent tree. And if we could be there when it was cut so that we wouldn't lose a lot
Yeah.
coming down, right?
Right.
Okay. So maybe we forego a donation if we can have access to a different one.
I'll touch bases with the Jones family and
Okay.
see if they still do that.
Okay.
I know that the son, every year takes a tree to Pike Market. It's not donated, but that's, so that he
So they
supplies their
have
tree.
good trees.
Yeah.
And I think the other concern too was who is actually cutting the tree down. So you have somebody that's just a logger that goes in and cuts it down, and they don't care about the limbs, they're more about the trunk. And then if you go to a tree farm, it's the opposite. They cut it down because they're caring about the limbs and not necessarily the liveness of the trunk. So maybe that might help in getting a
Yeah.
less workable tree.
Right. Well, I think that's a priority.
Mm-hmm.
You've done
It looked
wonders with
good.
what you had every year,
Yeah.
but that has really been a problem. Yeah. Okay, sounds good, and we'll let the Saints know that there's some consideration. After we learn about the tree farm first, is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah.
And then talk to the Saints? Okay.
Well, I did ask Roger
Mm-hmm.
to call me when they had a tree, the area of the tree picked out, and then I was gonna come out and look at it,
We
and I
didn't-
never got that phone call.
Yeah, I
So,
know, I remember.
If that could coincide, then
I think we'd be a little bit
Then
better.
It'd
But
be a
it's,
little
it seems to
different.
have been a problem at least 2 years now in a row.
Mhm.
yes.
So, yeah, and I actually think it's pretty important to get a decent
Mhm.
tree. So, since we'll go back to that if we've got the money for it. Yeah,
I've got like 4 more Christmases in me before I retire, so I'd like to,
Oh, nice tree. Like a,
4 more Christmases?
that's it.
well, I got 5 years.
Okay, so we're gonna have to get an elf trained from you at some point.
I think we got a good guy in mind. so.
Okay. And so was George out in the crowd going, ha ha ha?
Nobody drove by and said everything went great at night.
Of course. He said, I'm
Thanks,
so
George."
glad I didn't have to do it this year. Okay, anything else that we have to think about? No?
Got all
Okay.
my questions answered.
Okay, so we'll be working on the advertising budget. Okay. And we have the same amount as we did this last year. So we'll have to explore the possibilities. It would probably cost a whole lot more to go out. I mean, we didn't have very many options. It's really getting to be a little tricky with advertising. And you all know that. The Kitsap Sun, pretty much it's not very affordable.
Mhm.
And Port Orchard Independent has had staffing issues,
Mhm.
of course. So it's just been tricky. But we'll see what we can do because we're going to need some good exposure and we'll work on earlier brochures. We actually were supposed to get those a lot earlier. Yeah. So we'll see if they're all in business too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe a social media time.
Mhm.
I'm not getting, the newspapers are getting smaller and smaller.
Oh, I know.
It's
And
gonna
more
be
and more
like the phone
expensive.
book and everything else.
Well, but some of the social media advertising, I mean, we have some restrictions as a city on what we can do and not, right? With that
I think that's all been
resolved?
released.
I think, yeah, I know this year we pushed out about Chimes and Lights like 4 or 5 times. And I think we did like a save the date, reminder, Festival Chimes and Lights. I want to say we did that in September or October.
Can you tell how many viewers there were with
Yes.
any of that?
I can get that information,
Okay.
definitely, yeah.
Why don't we consider some of that? And that wasn't paid, was it? Did you have to pay
Nope,
anything
it's
extra
just
for a
through the
boost?
city's Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can do pictures, we can do, links back to our website, which is what we had. So just say, click below to see the schedule of events. They click on it, it brings them back to the
Mhm.
website. And then on the website, we did have a Chimes and Lights.
How
Chimes
many-
and Lights event page.
How many people do we have on our Facebook page? I mean, how many are
How many
friends?
followers?
Yeah.
I think right now it's roughly about 1,500.
1,500. Okay, well, Fred Chang's sites, he's got the Port Orchard
Mhm.
page and the rant page. Those in the tens of thousands, I
Mhm.
think. So, I don't know, could we ever put anything on that?
We cannot.
No, we can't.
But people in
The
the
city-
community do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The city employees and city elected
Yeah.
officials cannot post
Yeah.
anything on there.
But
But
Should not, I should say. I shouldn't say could not.
but
Should
Port
not.
Orchard Bay Street Association did, and we did some boosted posts on it.
Sydney Art Gallery
Yeah.
did, so
Yeah.
there are organizations
Who
that
can?
do
Yeah, we
that.
can boost posts.
And Chambers.
And then also post post the event onto the Port Orchard Facebook page and,
Port Orchard Positive.
Yeah.
All right, well, maybe we can actually work with our partnering organizations to make sure all aspects like that can go
And I
on
think
there.
we
Yeah.
sent an email to everybody saying, here's the brochure, pass it on, or maybe not, maybe
Yeah.
something else I was thinking of.
Did you let the macaroni kids up? No,
I
about
don't
that?
believe so, no.
No?
I don't.
Okay. That's
Wait,
definitely
so.
something too.
Macaroni kids, okay.
Mhm.
I think I have their contact information.
But it seems like a lot of people really are knowing about the event and wanting to be
Oh, yeah,
involved.
it's big.
Yeah. And Kathleen gets calls, I mean, more and more about
Yeah.
groups wanting to be involved in it.
Mhm.
That I don't think could hardly be better. I love Kitsap Community Chorale, Ethiopians,
Mhm.
Marcus Whitman, Junior
Mhm.
High. Oh my gosh, those groups were so good. I was just floored by how fun they were.
I never
It was
get to
just
hear them.
beautiful. And I didn't get to see the dance gallery, but I got some photos from them.
Yeah,
Oh,
the dance
just
gallery was neat.
lovely. We have so much going on. And then
Mhm.
Gary bringing in the marching band like that.
Oh my gosh. I got some good pictures of the marching band.
Did you?
Yeah.
Can you send some?
Yeah, well, I sent some pictures.
I got,
Did you get some?
yep.
Okay,
So
I
I
need
haven't
to.
been
able to
I
open
really
them up,
need
but
to
yes,
get
I did
those
get 'em.
soon. I need them for tomorrow night. So can you shoot some of those over for the presentation
Yeah.
for tomorrow? Oh yeah. No,
So
does
this-
that come from Kathy Garcia?
No, that is, so these are from Erin Sullivan, Christy Ansbury's niece.
Oh.
Took them. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
I can get some of these. This is.
If you need me for
Yeah.
questions or anything.
Oh
I know
wow.
where you work. I know where you live.
Oh,
Cool.
you do?
No.
Bill, thank you.
Thank you.
So they're pretty good ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, do you think those will work for the grant?
I believe so.
I think so. I mean, they show the activities, like the free
Yeah.
stuff, the lighted boats, and
I think so, yeah, I mean, we can send it, you know, for the Kids at Bank obligations, their grant and. Yeah, I don't see them having an issue
She does
with
do a
any of
good
the
job.
pictures or.
No, they just
No,
asked if
especially
there's
that one.
people involved that they sign a release.
Because that one is-
I haven't
did
seen
you
the
see that
pictures
one?
or there are people
That one is
involved.
good
They're
'cause it
just-
shows-
I just got
Is
it
that
through an
the
email, I
shoes?
didn't
Yeah.
open them up, I just saw it in the little preview.
Yeah.
Can you send those?
Yeah, I did.
Can you send
those
those
are the samples that I sent to you.
the C. Lucarelli
Yeah.
at City Park?
Oh, sure, yeah.
That looks really good.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm. I know, that one
That's
is,
a really good nighttime
that one
picture.
is
Yeah, I
nice,
know.
yeah.
That's a good camera.
Yeah, she's good.
It's really
And she
good.
got,
That's a cute picture.
like you can see kids at bank, they're trees,
Oh.
so, I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, they're just really good
Yes.
crowd pictures.
This is what we need too.
And then-
we really haven't had that many of these. Oh, look at that.
Isn't that cool, the sky in that one's
Yes.
pretty cool. And then,
These are neat.
that one's
Oh, these are really
the
good.
band.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, would you please send those?
sure,
Yes, just the right timing. Okay, then it shows everything.
yeah.
Oh, very cool. Nice, nice, nice. Well, good. Everything's happening this work. Okay, let's see. So meeting the obligations of the grant. Well, they wanted individuals, and that's what we don't really have.
That's how this guy, I thought I printed it, but I guess I didn't. I think they just said they want photos, and if there is any.
Of the event.
Of the event, and if there's any individuals that they have to sign a waiver. So I don't know that they were speaking individuals. I take that back. So they want photos, and then of the photo, they want them to provide a statement of what the event meant to them.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just a
it-
brief summary or
Yeah, actually,
statement
it was
about the
a bit more
event.
involved than what you're describing, because they actually wanted an individual with a photo and a testimonial.
And a test-
Testimonial, yeah.
So, and that's what they've asked for every year.
Yes.
And we really haven't had that much to give them.
Right.
It has to be
Yeah.
prearranged. So we were talking about maybe having Leslie get something from one of the choir members, or better still,
Oh.
the Ethiopians.
Yeah,
You know, something from
Uh-huh.
one of the kids.
Mhm.
How cool it was if a parent got a great photo of the child in the group.
oh, that'd be nice,
And then
yeah.
a little testimonial. I think that's what Kids at Bank is wanting for the
Okay.
marketing.
And so the reason why we put this on there is because each year we struggle to get that. We just
Yeah.
don't know.
Mhm.
And so I am leery of applying for the grant when we can't keep the obligation, because I'm afraid that something's they're gonna.
Oh, no, we
hold
should
us to
keep
it,
applying. We should keep applying.
Even though we can't meet the obligation.
I think you let them tell us if they don't want to. That's huge. Please apply for the grant. Yeah, I think that's a really important thing.
Mhm.
Kids at Bank has really wanted that. And they know that it's not that easy to get these, but if we send some photos
Of
and,
the event.
yeah, it would be, I think, not right to apply for it. So please do apply for that.
I have a question on those pictures.
Mhm.
So for the website and maybe social media, I was thinking to have a little more visuals on the website for a Festival of Chimes and Lights page. Are we able to use
I
any
can
of those
ask
pictures?
her, because I
And
know.
we can do photo credits.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure she'd be fine with
To
it.
do
I'll
it.
just ask her. I just asked if we could use them for the grant, to
Okay.
fulfill the grant, and that was fine. So
Okay.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, just I know we're probably gonna talk more, especially with the 20th coming up, just adding more visuals and.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that might be a good idea, but we'll double check first.
So the choirs for the obligation for 2017 funds.
Mhm.
So the goal is to send them what we have without any testimonials to see if that works? Or are we going to, somebody gonna work on trying to get the testimonials?
From the choirs. We could ask tomorrow night. We could ask Katie Olson. Is she gonna be there? Have you heard?
I'll have to look at the grant agreement one more time.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, look at that. And
I don't feel comfortable signing something knowing that we're not abiding by the grant 100%. So if I can get something for 2017 that says, hey, we had tried, and then when we look at, we haven't received the notice yet to apply for 2018.
Okay.
But when that comes in, I will bring it back to the committee and then we can discuss it at that point to see what their obligations are. But I'm just trying to get 2017 done so that way, not that they would ever come back, but
Right.
I
know they
can't
wanted
sign it consciously
photos.
knowing that we're not doing our job.
We're doing our job, and I'll apply for it. So if that takes the pressure off of you, then I'll just I can make the application for that, because they really want to be able
Well,
to.
Okay, let me look into it just a little bit more. Maybe I'm getting a little excited for no reason.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that we have gone many, many years without being
Right.
able. It's a standard form that Kitsap Bank sends whenever they're sponsoring something. So it's the same language for everything, but they have not had any problem with the city, and they love being the sponsor for this event. So I think we have to be careful about assuming something when they haven't even come to us.
Mhm.
I've never had a call from marketing at Kitsap Bank to say, "Where's your testimonial?" Never.
Mm-mm.
I think that that's part of the joy that they have in making this
Right.
event successful and decorating the way they do. They're doing more every year, which suggests just the opposite of what you're hinting at. That
Maybe we're an exception to the rule, but it just doesn't specify that in the grant when we receive it. And that's what I need just to look into a little bit more, because you're probably absolutely right.
I think they like to get the pictures.
yeah.
Because we send them
Anything that we can
photos, and
do
they
that
send out.
that they can put
Yeah.
on their website that say we're
Yeah.
the sponsor for
Yeah.
the ever popular Festival of Chimes and Lights
Right.
for the city of Port Orchard.
We send them pictures for
Pictures,
ladies' night
yeah.
out, and they
But we don't
accept
send
that.
specific testimonials.
No.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't think we've ever heard. I've never heard from anyone that that's been a problem. So you do the best you can, and since we'll have these photos and we can send them to them, and we will ask from the choirs if we can get just a testimonial. We talked about that before.
Yeah, I'm sure if Leslie's
There's
there,
got to
she
be
would get one.
one or
Yeah.
two kids whose parents were out there, took a
Mhm.
great photo,
Mhm.
and then they can just say how fun it was. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that'd be perfect. So, yeah, we can talk to I'm actually talking to the choir directors this week, and so I'll ask again if
Okay.
there's anyone that
Do you know if they're going to be there tomorrow?
Kitsap Community Chorale is for sure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I haven't heard from Ethiopians. I don't know.
Or Marcus?
I haven't heard
Yeah.
back from them either. Yeah. So we've got certificates for them, but
Nice.
yeah, they're trying to find somebody. But we have a lot of people coming. Yeah, so it'll be fun. Anything else though? No.
Not on my end.
Okay, good. So I think that's pretty much it. And Bobby, will you be coming tomorrow?
I don't know.
It's the cities, they're giving a certificate to,
Ah,
yeah,
is it?
at the council meeting.
Oh, I'm coming to
Yeah.
council.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were doing some
No.
No,
party
no.
that I didn't know about.
like,
And I'm
are
sitting
you
here
coming?
thinking, well, I wasn't invited, so.
No. It's the city council meeting.
Yeah, I will be at city
Okay,
council.
okay.
It's a party.
6:30.
It's a party.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a party.
No, we don't have funds for that.
Oh,
Although maybe
fudge.
someday,
I
right?
thought we were gonna have pizza or something.
Yeah. No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Okay, so as far as the next meeting, we have a couple of little things we have to deal with because I think it would normally fall on a holiday. Let me peek at that. So, and then I am going to be gone. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the 19th is President's Day, right?
Yep.
So, and I won't be back until the 26th, so I'll be leaving. It's pretty hard to reschedule another day, isn't it? We have to wait till March? That's too much stuff. Could anyone meet on a different day of the week? Or say a Tuesday, oh, that's 2, 3, 4, before a council meeting? Would that work? Not so much?
Staff's available.
Staff
Anytime.
Yep,
Anytime.
Would Tuesday before our council meeting or sometime?
How about you, Kathleen?
That kind of works, yeah.
That's okay.
So what time would be good?
We can 3:30 if you want to keep it at 3:30.
Okay.
We should be good to go.
Let's try that
Yeah.
and see if we've got anybody who has a problem with that. We'll be
February the
mostly
20th?
dealing with the information from, that we were just talking about. What?
Okay, February 20th, that Tuesday? or-
27th.
27th, okay.
And I'll just verify the room availability, but I'm
Okay.
sure it's.
Okay, good. So February 27th at 3:30. We'll see if we have any problem with that. Mostly, again, it's just going to be dealing with the input of this information. So Bill will be pretty crucial and trying to get those specs for you guys. I just don't want to wait too long. Kind of think the better prices are going to be this
Now.
Yeah.
Next,
Yeah.
probably 4 to 6 weeks.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, I'll talk about getting together with Bill really soon so we can get real specific specs for you. And if we could get samples soon too.
Yeah, I'll definitely contact them and
Okay.
see what they say.
Do we have 3 suppliers that are interested? Okay.
I've heard back from 3 organizations. Yes.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
display one of them?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. I think that's it for today. Thank you very much, everyone. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.